Hello and welcome to the Tech on Toast podcast. My name's Chris Fletcher and this is season 12. Tech on Toast podcast is serving up fresh chats with the sharpest minds in hospitality and tech. If you're looking to level up your ops, streamline your service, or just sprinkle a little tech magic into your business, you've come to the right place. And guess what? Our partners Lightspeed are back this season to look after us. They're the EPOS and payments platform helping over 165,000 businesses. Businesses such as Big Mama, Mildred's, Mallow, and Cubit House. They'll help you scale at, you guessed it, the speed of light. See what I did there? With real-time insights, faster transactions, and slick integrations with people like OpenTable, Xero, Muse, and many more, Lightspeed's unified platform is built to boost your performance and turn your tables quicker than you can say flat white, extra hot. So, if you need fast funding, check out Lightspeed Capital. No hidden fees, no interest charges, just smart support when you need it. If you're curious about all of this, just head over to lightspeed.co.uk/tech on toast and book yourself a free demo. You won't regret it. Now, enough of that. Ready for the next episode? Let's go. Welcome to the next episode of the Tech on Toast podcast. Today, we're delighted to be joined by Robert. Is it Bowie or Bowie?
It's Bowie.
Are you just trying to be cool?
I'm not trying to be cool. That's just objectively my name.
That is my name, Chris. Robert Bowie, who's co-founder of something very interesting called Marka. Robert, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Do we call you Rob, Robert, Bob?
I can go for a Rob or a Robert. Probably not a Bob or a Bobby.
I have to point out that Robert is from the Northeast, if you hadn't picked up from his accent already. And he's got a mission to make. Let's tell everybody who you support, even though you're from Newcastle.
Yes, I am a Sunderland fan.
It's just like sacrilege.
Yeah, it is. It's sacrilegious to my own health, to be honest.
It's probably quite dangerous, right?
Well, potentially, yeah.
We just don't tell anyone.
We're in the playoffs this season, so I don't know. It might bring me a lot of
but
joy.
You've been in the playoffs for like 6 months and you've kind of given up. That's my impression.
We have lost the last 5 games, which doesn't bode well. So
who have you got in the playoffs?
We've got Coventry, who we haven't won against since 2006.
Well, I hate Frank Lampard. I'll say that on the podcast. So good luck.
Fantastic. Even better.
So, Rob, before we get into this, tell us a little bit about you and how you've got to this point in your world.
So I'm Rob. I'm the co-founder of a business called Marka. And Marka is the UK's first standardised sustainability rating for hospitality.
I love this.
Yes, that's a lot of words and a lot of jargon, I know. But essentially what that means is we provide a rating for customers that's standardised across bars, pubs, restaurants, etc. of places to eat and drink that are sustainable. So what we do is we gamify the process of becoming sustainable. So let's say you're a pub and you have no idea where to start. We gamify that process, involve all your team members, and then the output is like a really tangible sort of customer symbol of sustainability.
So is it like, can I compare it to like, when I do my food hygiene audit?
Exactly the same. Yeah.
Okay. Because that actually was the only thing that ever, I grew up when that was invented, and it actually stuck. So I think you're on the right track.
Well, it's an interesting one, the food hygiene rating, because when that came out, there was actually quite a lot of skepticism of like, is this something we even need? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah,
but now,
cares?
Obviously, if you saw somewhere without a food hygiene rating, you'd be a little bit like, why?
Well, what I'll tell you now is that my son is 18 and he's very discerning now about where he eats stuff. And we went to a Chinese takeaway last Friday and we walked up and he went, whoa, 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 whoa. I was like, what? And he goes, 3-star, Dad? No. And I was like, Shay, it's fine. It's the same place we've been going. We're all still here. We've been going here 20 years. He said, but Dad, do you know what 3? Because now he works in a restaurant. He understands.
Yeah.
And he said, do you know what 3 means that they could fail on? And I was like, I do actually. I spent my career in it. He said, so why are you still eating here? I was like, I'm lazy. Get in there. But it's true, right? And I think that the new generation, particularly in the field you're talking about, I think care more. Right, and maybe I'm wrong, 100%. But I think they do. It's remiss of us not to mention Chiara, by the way, because Robert has stolen the whole show.
Well, actually, in theme with the food hygiene rating, she had food poisoning, so she can't be
So
here.
Chiara is the other co-founder, is that correct?
Yes, Chiara is, operational queen of the business and co-founder.
And a Geordie as well, or not?
No, she's from Herefordshire.
Oh, she's the posh one.
Yeah, very so.
Very cool. And she's not well, so Chiara, best wishes from us. Hope you get better. On with the show. So tell us a little bit about, so where have you been up to? What have you been doing before you built Marka?
Cool. So it was the kind of backstory to where Marka started was, I'm kind of going to go full circle here.
That's fine. You do that.
So straight out of uni, I was kind of like, I didn't particularly want to go into a job. It was one where my background's in sustainability, so I've got my degree in sustainability. So I was kind of looking in the field out there to be like, what's the most impactful way to start a business, influence people. We had a couple of iterations and tried different things. And then it happened to be the scenario where Chiara moved up to Newcastle from her corporate job in London because she burnt out in that. And we kind of knew each other through like a mutual friend. So we met up. and kind of were like, I was doing something initially in the music industry, so it was kind of sustainable events around music and such like that. Ended up being something that kind of didn't look like it was going to scale. So we kind of met and we were like, oh, we'll just do a business together. So that's kind of how it started, and it's sort of snowballed from there. So yeah,
I love it. And Chiara, I'm guessing because your skill set is not opposite, but do you find like because we have a lot of co-founders and founders come on, and is it working well? Because I always think when you have two people together,
yeah, it works very well.
I have a really long way of asking that question. Do you like her?
It was quite long-winded. Yeah, I think she's acceptable. Yeah, I can do business with her. No, yeah, she's very nice. I think it's a really weird one because it's both me and Chiara are only children, so we've kind of like assumed this role where suddenly we've got a sibling, but like we've I've assumed like sort of inherited a sibling at 24. It's really, really bizarre. So we kind of have this like bickering relationship where everything we'll disagree on, but that's kind of good for the process of running a business because it's usually the answer's usually like somewhere in the middle, right? So we kind of converge.
And why hospitality?
Couple of reasons. One, which kind of shocks us, there's pitifully little sort of options for sustainability in hospitality. Like there really is not much out there. And the other one is everyone eats and drinks, right?
Yeah.
Like if you are picking a market to influence as many people as possible, there isn't many better than hospitality, because regardless of race, gender, sort of income, whatever, you are consuming from a pub or a restaurant. So it's
I think the SRA. Do you know the SRA? Have you heard of this? The SRA, you probably might know them actually without working in the industry.
Sustainable Restaurant Association.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, so the SRA are probably, I'm probably doing people disservice here, are the ones that I think have been around the longest in terms of that field. Yeah. But again, without being rude, I don't know how much impact they're having, if any. We had them at Carluccio's when I was there, and we did this one napkin thing, and everyone was only allowed to use one napkin. But every time I went to a bloody restaurant, they were using the 5 or 6 per person.
Yeah, I think the problem with a lot of these things is the accountability isn't there, right? Yeah. So as much as I'm not
down, I'm telling my waiters to.
Yeah, and I'm not doubting the intention's good, right? But the practicality of actually implementing something like that,
it's impossible.
Realistically, if anyone's, I've worked in pubs for a long time, and obviously you've done a huge amount of hospitality as well. Like, things being said are well and good, but realistically, did it happen?
No, that's why you have a lot of this. I'm getting into it too quickly here, but like on a menu where you mentioned the plug sockets in here, right?
Yeah.
Powered by wind? Powered by wind energy.
Yeah, which is questionable because all the electricity on the grid comes from the exact same place, so you can't really say that. But
well, that's what I'm saying about, because we have a lot of menus now that will say sustainable, and they'll have even like carbon footprint scores or next to dishes, and I'm not sure how much. Whilst it's great to know, how much impact is it having? I don't know. But
what does it mean, right? Like,
if we're going to solve a problem, how do we do it?
See a number on a menu and like, what does that mean to any consumer? It literally means nothing, right?
And if I like fish and chips and it's a high carbon foot, I'm probably going to have fish. It sounds really bad. But
well, yeah, because it's like any stats without context are completely useless. Yeah. I could throw loads of stats at you right now, and there's
I was hoping you were going to.
Yeah, I actually don't. I should have some more stats to reel off, shouldn't I? I should have like a list of little podcast stats and go through.
So tell us a bit about, because I've got here, we've got the thinking behind it. It's a 3-tiered system, is it?
It is a 3-tiered system. Yeah.
So as the food rating is 5
food rating is 5,
whatever it is, stars. Not stars. Is it stars? Or yes?
No, it's like little forks, isn't it? Is that right?
I think a fork. I'm thinking Hard Rock. A fork is like the emblem, but I think it's 5 circles.
Hang on, have you got a camera on you?
No.
So nobody saw what you just did?
No. I was throwing the Hard Rock.
Chris there did some sort of like cool rock symbol. Yeah, that made you look really trendy.
No, but I worked for Hard Rock for like 8 years, and that was our
motto.
Yeah, that was our thing.
Well, the Hard Rock in Newcastle's just closed, so that's probably...
Was there even one in Newcastle?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Wow.
That's probably why it's closed.
Yeah, it shouldn't have opened. When they opened in like the non-tourist locations, no offense, Newcastle, it didn't really work.
Yeah.
Edinburgh survived.
Yeah.
Manchester.
Well, the one in Newcastle opened on like a bizarre place down by the river that not even people from Newcastle kind of go to. And it was just like, I'm not really sure why it's here. It was a very interesting.
My favourite bit is that every Hard Rock that opens, they have their T-shirt, right? Hard Rock Cardiff, Hard Rock whatever.
Yeah.
So Hard Rock Newcastle. I would have loved what the merch was, because they do a bunch of personalised merch for the city. So it would have been interesting to see the take up. Yeah. You guys love you love shouting about where you're from.
Yeah.
No? Anyway, right, I'm digressing totally. And how do you measure? Because the big question you're going to ask is, right, so how do I get to the point of having good, excellent, outstanding?
Cool.
And what happens if I'm not good?
Cool. So a couple of things, I'll just sort of run back on that question. Food hygiene rating, the reason we kind of look out there at like established standards of rating systems, and obviously there's an absolute wealth out there, right? The 5-star sort of rating is obviously well established. You go on Google, things about 5 stars, for example, food hygiene rating that is out of 5 forks or whatever it is. We kind of wanted to move away from that because we felt that that was something that was kind of oversaturated. Like you see that everywhere. So we wanted to have something that was a little bit more distinctive in the market. So we kind of turned our heads more to the sort of Michelin star rating out of the 3 Michelin stars, right? And I'm kind of positioned sustainability as something that's a real asset for a business. Like
more valuable.
Yeah. This is something of high value. So the way it works basically is we gamify that process. So if you imagine like one of those big Cadbury's chocolate bars you get for Christmas.
God, I'm starving. Yeah, go on.
I know, sorry. Big Cadbury's chocolate. So we basically take all the elements of sustainability. Imagine sustainability is the chocolate bar. And then we break it down into little chunks and little tasks.
Right.
So businesses go through and complete those tasks. Each one of those tasks awards a number of stars depending on how difficult it is. So basically, they go through, complete tasks, earn stars, and then the stars go towards their rating. So 40 stars is good, 60 stars is excellent, and 80 stars is outstanding. So like it's completely standardized across everyone we work with. But what's really cool, the answers of those tasks go into like an advanced language model that we've built. And it basically outputs a real-time sustainability summary of everyone we work with. So if you see like an excellent marker rating, for example, in the pub, and you kind of like, the hell does a marker rating mean? Like you can scan the code and literally see everything they are doing to be sustainable. It's
That's
like
very
unbelievable.
cool.
It's really cool.
Well, you would say that, but yeah.
But
But
I'm biased.
no, but that's very cool. And how? I mean, I'm not sticking to questions because I said I wouldn't. How's that being received then? So, because is there a big education piece to be done here as well as the actual product?
Huge. Yeah. Yeah. In terms of receival, really well. Like it's a frustrating one for us because almost the feedback we get is too good. Like the feedback doesn't necessarily correlate with the uptake. So, for example, we walk into a business and like the managers love it, the staff love it, the owner's like, this is amazing, I'd love to do this. But I think we're kind of in that catch-22 of because they don't see other people in the sector doing it. They're kind of like, I'll wait for someone else to do it first.
Yeah, you need a big brother, don't you?
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Yeah. So
what's stopping a Wagamama doing? I mean, they'd be perfect, right?
Nothing.
I think they would tick all those boxes.
No, nothing. I mean, like tech-wise, we could already do like if like 2,000 hospitality businesses came to us and said, "Can we like get on this and like start this process?" We would be like, "That's not a problem. Like we can do that."
It's very cool. And what's the because I think sustainability is quite an interesting subject because as you just alluded to there, everybody wants to do it.
Of course.
Everybody thinks it should be done.
Yeah.
What is sustainable? Done. It should be more sustainable, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody now understands that that's something that is going to help. You know, apart from Donald Trump, think that the planet will be, better off for doing better things. But where do you think the blockage is? Do you think it is around people's education around understanding what the benefits are, or do you think it's
a value?
Do you think it's low down on their list of things to do because they've got no chef or no? Well, this is something we kind of we and ah on a lot, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's down to a value thing. So. I don't think hospitality businesses quite yet realize the value of what this has with consumers. Like the hospitality market is obviously so extremely competitive, and there's so little you can do now to differentiate yourself from your competition, right? One of the things that you can do is be sustainable. Like it is a limited list now, but like being sustainable does attract a different set of customers. Because they're doing B Corp, right? So a lot of these guys, a lot of the bigger brands, like Pizza Pilgrims just became B Corp. I know Paddy and Scott's, I think, are B Corp. So a lot of these guys are, and I don't think it's easy to obtain. Yeah. But they obviously see the value in that.
100%. Yeah. And that, I mean, especially from like a corporate basis, that's extremely attractive, right? But I think what we see is especially smaller hospitality chains and like SMEs and people across the sector, they struggle to connect that sort of step into sustainability with an increase in footfall. Yeah. Even though the data suggests that would happen, and other sectors like retail, that does happen, in hospitality, I think because there's not been any first movers yet, it's kind of like there's a reluctance to do it.
They want the ROI tomorrow as well, right? So
it's an instant return thing where you're like, you can't just step into something like sustainability and just click your fingers and it's done. Like it's a long journey and it touches all aspects of your business. Like it is going to touch your supply chains. It is going to touch the way you train your staff, like the way you operate your venue in terms of policies. It's going to change. But actually, the weird thing is, once you've kind of got that foundation in place, it becomes quite easy after that. It's almost those first steps are the most difficult one, and then you start to reap the benefits, and it becomes much easier.
It's a bit like having an addiction. So like that admittance of It's the opposite to addiction. They don't want to. They don't want to be addicted to it. It's the opposite of addiction. They know that they need it, but they don't want to have it. No, I think we had a company called Zedible. Have you heard of them?
I haven't.
They don't. I don't think they're around anymore, unfortunately. But they did a carbon footprint model where they could measure the output on recipes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant. Two boys who owned their own restaurant chain who were doing it as like a side gig, and then were hoping that would be their thing. And I don't think it turned out in the end. But same thing, right? Because they were just coming up against this. Oh, we don't get it. We don't know why it's important. You're slightly different because you're registering. You're giving them a certification, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Which I think is smart because it's not only education, it's also about saying this is our standard. This is what we're 5-star rated food hygiene,
100%.
and we're outstanding rated with Marka.
Yeah, it's a strange catch-22 we find ourselves in, because we were talking to a guy called Neil from, do you know Mission Mars?
Yes.
Who own like Rudy's Pizza and stuff. We were talking to Neil, who manages their sustainability, and we had a really interesting conversation with him where he basically sort of tabled the notion that, well, they're doing all these things for sustainability behind the scenes, but customers don't care, right? So what's the point of talking about it? But the position we're in is those hospitality businesses, a lot of them think customers don't care, or it actually doesn't make a difference to those footfall statistics, right? Even though obviously corporate-wise they might be going for B Corp and such. But actually, we're in that catch-22 of customers don't have anything to pick from. They can't pick from nothing. So once those options are provided, they'll start to pick, and then businesses will see the benefit. But without seeing that evidence, businesses don't want to step into it.
It's very interesting.
It's almost this round robin of like, one of you needs to move first, and then everyone will be able to move as well.
I think if you ask marketing, they would disagree with him. I think marketing would say, yes, this group of people really care.
But you know what? This is the thing as well, where we often find, for example, I've actually got written down a point here saying, there's often businesses that will have, let's say, 2 people that are responsible for sustainability. No one else in the business knows what the hell they're doing. Like, it's this thing where it touches every element of the business, right? And it changes the whole operational practices of like supply chains and stuff. Whereas most people don't know what's going on. So we've got this kind of divide where these people who are operating sustainability are kind of in like a different universe to the rest of the people in the business.
They're like tech.
Yeah, it's just so bizarre. Like there's a I won't mention the name, but there's a quite a popular bar in Newcastle that has someone who manages their sustainability, and nobody else in the business knows what the hell they're doing.
Like Willy Wonka, nobody ever goes in.
It's
nobody ever comes
strange. It's so strange, yeah.
But it's so weird. And what are some of the, I suppose, blind spots, or what are some of the hidden hospitality in sustainability when you're looking at things? What are some people doing well that you can share, and what are things that people aren't doing that they could do well in?
Well, I think
that was the weirdest question ever.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, you're just unfolding that. I'll give you a second.
So it's an interesting one. I think what we would say is, from our experience, most venues are doing way more than they think.
Yeah.
I think there's almost this stigma around it of they don't quite understand what sustainability is for their venue, which means they're kind of scared of it. When in reality, they're doing a lot more than they already realise, and we kind of just need to consolidate that into one place and strategize it a bit and go, what are we doing here? How do we step forward with this? Because at the minute, it's so discombobulated. But yeah, I mean, like basic things, like a lot of venues now have like water reduction targets.
Yeah.
Like they make sure they have policies to turn the lights off. Like they have policies of social inclusion. They have policies of diversity. They have policies of cultural sort of outreach. Like they're doing things that are good. It's just so disjointed. They don't even know where they stand. So kind of part of what we do is we actually go into businesses and say, you need a place where this is all organised, not just one person in the business. Let's get everyone involved in the team, educate everyone. This can be a sort of process that's not tedious and horrible. Like you can enjoy it, I promise. And then we can reap the marketing benefits as well, because obviously we know as a hospitality business, that's what you want at the end of the day.
And I totally agree with what you're saying about the differentiator. I think that their marketing teams, brand teams, operators even now are scratching around trying to find ways to kind of fight for that pound, because it's difficult, right? Because it's, as you said, super competitive, getting harder because the costs are going up and up and up. I think you're definitely in the right place. And have you seen it? I mean, it's hard because you're quite new. Have you seen any kind of wins? Because I imagine it takes time, right? I don't think you can just switch it on. What do they get? They get something in the window. Or how does it display?
So it's basically a full ecosystem of marketing. So the process goes, they sign up, They add all the venues they want to do. So we do it per venue. So
Yeah.
it's not organizational, which means we can have a little bit more of a sort of a macro focus. They do it per venue, add their staff in the venue. So essentially it spreads it across the organization. And then essentially it syncs as they get their marker rating. All their AI summaries sync and their ratings sync. So that goes in our app, which is like the equivalent of like a TripAdvisor. So you're in Waterloo and you want to find a sustainable pub. You can go on there, find sustainable restaurants, filter by pubs, cafes, etc.
Oh, so you're a marketplace as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So and that's also on our website. So basically, you can go on there and see everything they're doing to be sustainable, description of the restaurant, etc., photos, and then see their marker rating as well. And then there's other sides. So, for example, like we have pre-made marketing assets. So they can click into the little marketing hub on our portal and they can download pre-made assets, which are like real-time synced with all that information that they've done to be sustainable. For example, if they want to display like information in their toilets of how they're saving water, they could have a custom-made poster at just like a click of a button and just put it on the wall. So it's about creating that whole ecosystem of marketing around sustainability. So we not only take people on the journey, we actually tell them like, this will gain you more customers. You need to shout about it. We will tell you how to do that.
I think that's some of the commercial aspect of it that people are or not fearful of, but are wary of. That they wonder if doing this is going to. Obviously, they're doing the right thing, but caveated with that quite quickly these days is, are we making some more money as well? So, and quite rightly you are, right? But as you said, the whole thing has to type together, right? Your social media presence, everything around it should be pushing the fat. Look, this is what we do every day for you guys to make sure that we're doing the right thing for everybody else. And I think getting that message out, it's almost pointless doing it unless you're going to do that, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's a strange one actually, because we've had people who are businesses we've stepped into who are already quite committed to sustainability.
Yeah.
And they've almost
they haven't necessarily gone and shouted about it then.
No, but yeah, well, this is the thing actually. A lot of people kind of table the notion, and I don't know if this is a particularly British thing, but they don't want to shout about it because they feel like they shouldn't have to shout about doing the right thing, right? But actually, what we say is that's completely wrong, because you have the power as a hospitality business, as you know, of you bring people into your doors of all different sort of sects of society. You can educate, you can do different things, you can help make this change outside of your venue. And we always say we don't want to make like 10% of businesses 100% better. We want to make 100% of businesses 10, 20% better and get everyone on the ladder and get everyone up together. Because when we do have an ecosystem where, let's say, you can go out in London and you can walk down, I don't know, the Bermondsey Beer Mile, and you can see 10 different marker rated venues and exactly why each one's sustainable. The first one or two might not make a difference. You might say, it's sustainability rating. But when you've been to the 8th or 9th pub, and you've seen that everywhere, there's no way that doesn't make a difference to the way consumers see things.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so it's about creating that sort of universe of sustainability. The sustainability universe.
I'll clip that one for you. Universes.
And
it can't be easy, right? Because you're not an old man like me. So being how old's Chiara? You're similar age.
24 as well. Yeah,
so you're both quite young, and the challenges we just talked very briefly before we started recording about the challenges of running your own business. You're having to cope with that, plus you're having to educate into it's unfortunate I'm saying new sector, but it's not new, is it? But it is in terms of its adoption.
Yeah, to hospitality.
Yeah. So because we're useless. But how is that for you? Because you've got the business side of it, you've got the product side of it. Have you found that a challenge?
Oh yeah, it's extremely difficult.
Yeah,
it's extremely difficult. I always say like, it's one of those where I get torn between like a rock and a hard place of we absolutely love what we do and our product is fantastic.
It comes across.
Thank you. But it's very difficult. And I think the resilience that's needed with the hospitality sector, and I'm sure all hospitality businesses know this internally as well, is a lot, right? Like there's a lot of resilience required to plod on, because things just don't go to plan a lot of the time, and that's within businesses themselves. And the educational process, we have to go on to actually communicate these things to those businesses. For example, I mean, if you worked in a professional sector, you'd expect a reply to an email, right? We understand a lot of our clients are so busy, it takes us 3 or 4 emails to get a reply, right? So just basic things like that, I think, were kind of a bit of a discovery journey for us, kind of, and a bit of like
I think
a realism. So
I don't know if it's they're being spammed by a million tech providers.
Well, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are.
No. It's the same thing, right? But I also agree with you about their time poor.
always have been, always will be. And I don't even know if email's the right way to so a lot of our customers now, we just get them on WhatsApp. And like it sounds like we're going the other way around, but like because we just can't get hold of them. But when you phone them, they don't mind. Or WhatsApp, they won't reply if they don't want to, right?
No, definitely.
But I think it's just email is so clogged up with
we're quite lucky in Newcastle because we can kind of plod through the door of places and barge our way in, and usually get pretty friendly conversations.
Yeah, because I think that people appreciate it's hospitality, right?
Yeah,
it's a motive business. People want to meet you face to face, and if you can do that, fantastic. But obviously, if you're trying to scale something, you're going to struggle to be everywhere unless you create some more of you.
I do try it.
Yeah, I know. I bet. and I think some of the challenges. Were you taught how to run a business? Do you know what you're doing, or have you just learned on the hop?
Well, I think we've kind of learned along the way. Chiara's degree is in music and business, actually, oddly enough. But
so she sings while you do your task.
She doesn't actually. She's not. You know what's bizarre? She's not particularly musical at all. She can play the drums a bit, but it's kind of
Was
more.
it more not production or management?
Yeah, like well, I think more music in the like business in the music world, sort of thing. I don't know. If she was here, she'd be better to answer.
Chiara. Yeah. Right, send us an answer on a postcard.
I know, I should ring her up, shouldn't I?
So, and as you go forward then, do you see the product evolving? Obviously, it's going to evolve, you're going to iterate.
Yeah.
But do you see that, is that just going to be you two, or do you plan to?
No, it's already built to scale. So we've kind of already built all the framework there to scale staff members and scale other things and scale our operations. So in terms of that challenge, that won't be particularly difficult. I think our frustration at the minute is the limiting factor for us isn't our capabilities in the business. It's not necessarily financially. It's not our tech platforms or systems or ability to scale. It's actually just education in the sector. Yeah. Like the process that takes the longest is kind of convincing people that this is worthwhile.
Yeah.
And without those first movers, it's difficult, right? So, for example, we signed Full Circle Brewery, who are a brewery up in Newcastle the other day, and they got it straight away. Yeah. Because they have this notion of sustainability. They do it already. They understand what it means for their customers. And straight away, it's like, yeah, I get that. I totally understand it. That's an amazing idea. But we take that to a smaller pub, or even like, let's say a pub chain that's 15, 20 venues. It's not there yet. And like, even though there's people from sort of like a fundamental basis know it's good, they struggle to make that line connection between good and value. Like, is this value for my business?
100%. I think almost immediately when you're talking to them, they're thinking in their head, how am I going to get this over the line?
Yeah.
How can I? Because that's the way I have conversations with people. I'm constantly thinking, can I reason with you to make you understand that this is a good idea and that you're going to pay for it?
100%. You know what? One of the most common questions we get asked is, will we be at good?
Will you be what? Sorry.
Will we be at good sustainability? Yeah. That's all. The first question is, will we be at good sustainability? So
what happens if you don't get to good?
Nothing.
Okay.
You just essentially. So what we do is we show venues as pending their rating on our website. Okay, so they'll still go on there and go on our app, and they basically have a year to get their first rating, and then after that they'll kind of be removed off the app and the website. But yeah. I mean, we give businesses a lot of leeway, and it's broken down in a way where they can really split the load of this. Like there isn't anything comparable in terms of work rate. But yeah, it's interesting. Like,
no, I bet it's difficult. And the actual, I was just reading this one here. Where's that? Where's my question gone? So I'll edit this bit out. You were talking about pre-approved sustainability, sustainable suppliers.
Yes.
How does that work?
Okay. So it's a similar process where so it's a similar process where we kind of understand that like this whole notion of sustainability to businesses in terms of looking for supplies is a little bit murky as well. Like, what does sustainability even mean?
Yeah.
So what we do is we have a similar process for suppliers where they kind of go through a gamified process and have to do certain things and tasks and evidence stuff to us, and we basically off that we kind of say like, look, this is someone that we know is okay to work with. They're on our website. We say exactly why they're sustainable, etc. So we can create that kind of network where we can go. Not only can we go sort of connect a venue with a supplier, but hopefully we can kind of go through suppliers to venues as well. So we have that sort of the web of sustainability.
That makes perfect sense. And how big can it get? Because you're essentially starting where the food agency started with their rating, and most people, I'm sure, like you said, probably shun them at the start, going, oh God, who cares? Who cares if you're a 1-star or a 5-star?
Yeah.
But how? So in an ideal, not in an ideal world, in this world, how big do you think you can get?
Oh, I mean, there's no reason why it can't become a global standard in terms of sustainability in hospitality. There's no limitations on our ability to go and do that. It's basically how willing the sector is to do that or how much the sector wants it. But in terms of like our ambitions, we want to be at least minimum sort of the nationwide standard for sustainability in hospitality.
Because Marka should become part of the language, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, which I think is really smart when you're building new products, right? If you can make your product part of people's day-to-day language, then it becomes a much more easy to sell on through other people because you'll get operators saying, "Do you have you got Marka?"
We always say, right, the thing we want the most from what we're building is we do not want this to be one of those training exercises that's handed down. That's a crap video that you watch that you go, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We want this to be something that a hospitality business goes, look, this is so easy. This is so engaging. This is the output of this is so good. Let's do it. Let's leap into it. We want to do this. It doesn't need to be something that's top down and litigious and boring. Like we can make it something that's like a bit exciting, like involve all the team members in the business, make it feel like everyone's kind of putting a bit of effort towards this. And if we can get in that place where we have that feeling in hospitality, right? Like these are teams of people that are enthusiastic about the job. They work extremely hard, like obviously extremely social. Like we can step on the back of that and like make a real change nationwide. It just requires first movers. It requires people to sort of take that first step and go, this is what we need to do now.
I think you need to talk afterwards. A couple of brands that I would think like would just make sense to do. And if I'm an operator and I'm sitting here listening, thinking, okay, I quite like him. He's got good energy. He's talking a good game. But they don't know where to start because I think that's often these things. They're looking around the table if they haven't got someone in charge of sustainability, which a lot of them won't, right? Because they probably put tech or accounts or whatever else before that. So they're looking around the table thinking, who's going to look after this and how easy is it to do or how easy is it to get started? How do they do it?
Is that with us?
Yeah.
So it's as simple as us as with us, where we actually understand that that's a problem, right? The biggest point of entry to this is people kind of not knowing where to start. It's as simple as going on the Marka website, click and sign up, creating your account, and there is a full tutorial that guides you through everything, how to use the platform.
I think it's the job function as well, right? Who does it?
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand where this lies, but...
Is it marketing? Is it operations?
Well, controversially, I think it's all of them. So I think the notion of going into sustainability, what we often find is the problem is, as I was saying before, it's kind of hot spotted on one person in the business who does everything. Whereas, like, would you consider yourselves, well, maybe you would, Chris, but I don't know, but would you consider yourself like an expert on like operations, an expert on like people management, an expert on like, you wouldn't, right?
No, I know what I know, right? I know, obviously I've got knowledge around others, but I know what I've brought up in operations.
And most people wouldn't, right? I'd obviously be naive to assume that they did. Sustainability covers all aspects of a business. Like it's social things, it's cultural things, it's environmental things. We cannot expect one person to do everything. We need basically someone to take a lead, whether that's operational. But the way Marka works is they can divide that up across venues, they can divide that up across teams. They can kind of create that structure of sustainability that's managed in the business where we go, this isn't one person. Let's hold multiple people accountable, spread the load, educate multiple people, and it kind of gets the ball rolling in a way where we go.
That's like a developmental tool as well, right?
Yeah,
for individuals who want to move
100%.
up, take a bit of responsibility, run a project,
100%.
whatever it might be. I was sitting with Sasha today from Bills, and she heads up the IT for them, for the tech for them, and we were talking about the same thing for her. How do you take these projects on without getting overloaded? And that's how you do it. You spread the load, right?
Spread the load,
Make sure people get involved and get them to help. Look, it's fantastic. What happens in 5 years? So I invite you back. Let's not say 5. 5 is a long time. Let's say a year. If I bring you back here in a year, where do you think we're at?
Well, we've changed a lot in a year. I mean, we were just literally started trading, I think, April last year. So basically a year ago. So I'm hoping we'll have signed a couple of chains by then. Fingers crossed.
I think I want to help with that actually. So I think you can. Yeah, and
I've no doubt that we can.
Yeah, I mean, your confidence isn't the issue.
It's difficult. It's difficult for us to get in the room with those people a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, it's for anyone, right? Whether you're POS or whether you're you.
We're in like the deep cold north, so we have to often travel.
Are there many central? Because most of the head offices are down here, right? Or
Greg's.
Greg's is based. Is the head office of Greg's in Newcastle?
Greg's is in Newcastle.
Of course it is. That's very cool. Are you in Greg? You need to get in Greg's.
No, but hopefully we do have connections to Greggs. Actually, Greggs are good for sustainability, you know.
Yeah, I would imagine. But
Yeah.
and I think for me the whole when I first saw it, right, when you guys popped up,
You thought Greggs?
no, don't talk about. I'm starving. I'm literally starving, and I walked past the Greggs. I'm kicking myself because I thought, should I nip in and get something? And
You
I
know
just
what?
kept
Sorry,
going.
I'm going on a tangent here. You know what's really interesting?
No.
So, coming to London, and we find ourselves down every maybe 2 weeks or so. I think it basically the inverse switch between the south and the north is we have the same amount of sort of like per square mile number of Greggs to what you used to have Pret a Manger. So it kind of like it's like as you go further north, like the percentage suddenly changes. I'd be interested to see like a chart of like how many like Prets change slowly into
A bit
Greggs.
like Gales as well, right? You haven't got a Gales. Have you got Gales in Newcastle?
No, do we have Gales in Newcastle? It's about £6 for a croissant. We don't have Gales in Newcastle.
Oh god.
I met the person who founded Gales the other day, and he was really nice actually.
I found out the other day that I think I knew Emma King, who's the CMO at Hawksmoor,
Yeah.
was also one of the original founders of Gales.
Oh.
I never knew that the other day. Yeah, she was
cool.
involved at the start. Anyway, I'm digressing.
Yeah.
But look, on obviously our job is to help you. So we'll have a chat afterwards, and we'll see what we can do. We'll get young Abby to go and get her sustainability shoes on, so she can help.
Such a gentleman, Chris.
If people want to get in touch with you and find out more about Marka and actually how just get them started.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a little webinar. Actually, we'll do a little webinar together where we can physically show the product. 'Cause I think it always helps, right?
Mhm.
So people can just see. Look, this is how simple it is.
Yeah.
Maybe Tech on Toast can become a. Can it be a? Does it have to be a physical hospitality business? Your eyes are saying yes.
A physical hospitality business.
Well, it can't be me. I basically Tech on Toast can't become sustainable.
Nah,
for
you
Marka.
could be a sustainable
Could we?
supplier.
Well, maybe we should do that, and then we can start the ball rolling,
Yeah.
and then show people.
Well,
what we're doing.
I'd be happy
But
with
anyway,
that.
but how do people get in touch if they want to have a chat?
So simple. I mean, there's a contact button on our website. So our website is We Are Marka, and Marka is spelled Marka. So if you just Google We Are Marka, contact form on there, or you can literally click sign up and just sign up. It takes 3 or 4 minutes. Go through the tutorial, get started. I mean, it's crazy easy, like crazy easy.
Crazy easy. And that's coming from a Macam. Anyway, lovely. Look, thank you very much, mate.
Was that your Geordie accent?
No, I didn't even attempt it.
You
I
did?
can.
No, you did.
I can do it.
Yeah.
But I won't. A Macam? I won't. You told me not to do it. You said it was offensive.
It's not offensive. It's just
Embarrassing.
not very good.
Which is offensive. Anyway, he's come all the way down. Where are you heading back to today?
To Newcastle tonight, yeah.
Newcastle tonight. And then, sorry, it's very bad. I mean, I'm a Scouser originally, but I've lost it, I think.
You have lost it?
Is there any? I don't think there is any.
No, I think there might be a little bit.
I think because I've been in Wales for 15 years,
Right.
that is South Wales has affected me. If I was in North Wales, I'd just be talking through my nose. Oh God, we're
I
just
think
defending everybody.
you've got a little bit of a Welsh twang as well,
Yeah.
like really, really slight.
My kids all speak Welsh. They're all at
Really?
Welsh. They're all at Welsh school. Yes, they're all
That's
fluent
cool,
Welsh.
that.
I haven't got a clue what they're talking about. But I'm sure it's
That's
come
quite
from-
dangerous, that isn't it?
Yeah, the less they talk to me, the better, mate, to be honest. It's much easier. But look, that was the Tech and Toast podcast, everyone. That was Marco. Check him out at We Are Marka. Is it wearemarka.com?
.co.uk.
wearemarka.co.uk. Get yourselves on the sustainability journey, people. Stop messing about. This is a commercial tool as well as doing the right thing. So, reach out to Rob or our food poisoned friend, Chiara. Is it Chiara? Did I get that right? Yeah.
I'll change her listing on our website to the food poison friend, just to
that's
be
right.
in line with it.
Yeah. So I'm sure she'll be better by the time you all listen to this. So let's hope so. But that's it. Thank you very much, my friend. Have a safe journey home. Say bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
There you go.